Hello and welcome to a Tactics Thursday. And today we're going to be taking a look at the baldest guy in town, Pep Guardiola, and his inverted wing-back tactic that absolutely flummoxed the likes of Glenn Hoddle and Steve McManaman when Pep unrolled it for the very first time in living history when he turned up at Manchester City. Sorry, what was that? He played it at Bayern Munich as well. Someone should have told Stevie and Glenn possibly. Now, Guardiola's coming for a little bit of stick in his first season at City, mainly because he hasn't just turned up and won the league without anybody else really trying. So, of course, the tactical genius that is Pep has been completely, utterly thrown out with the bathwater. Now, what one of our great guys at Tempo has done in the last couple of weeks is written a brilliant piece on Pep and his inverted wing-back system. So it's my great pleasure today to narrate distance covered superb piece, and we're going to have a look and see whether he actually managed to replicate Pep Guardiola's inverted wing-back system correctly on Football Manager 2017. So I'm doing tactics again, not a lot of changes, eh? Halfway through his first season at Bayern Munich, Pep Guardiola's newly educated side were consistently winning matches, yet Pep was found unsatisfied. His players at Bayern loved his fresh new ideas and found themselves leading the Bundesliga by a comfortable margin. Pep still wasn't happy. His unhappiness was not results-based, it was related to how his team performed on the pitch. Pep felt he wasn't maximising the attacking weapons at his disposal, so he opted for a change. Now, after evaluating his squad, it was evident that his most influential resources were his world-class wingers, Robben and Ribéry. To get the most out of his wingers, Pep instructed his fullbacks to tuck inside as inverted wing-backs when his team were in possession of the ball, which effectively made them look like central midfielders. This move dragged opposing players inwards, leaving his wingers very wide and thus able to engage in 1v1 situations with the opposition's fullbacks. These world-class wingers were then able to win their 1v1 duels and cross with enough quality to find the striker, who would often finish resulting in a goal. At Manchester City, Pep has adopted a similar approach due to the dribbling ability of Sterling and Sane and the poaching nature of Sergio Aguero. Often this season, Clichy and Sagna have acted as inverted wing-backs, with Sterling and Sane playing as wide as possible to create these 1v1 situations, as demonstrated in the image you can see. As shown here, one of the ways in which Pep's current system at Man City differentiates the tactic used at Bayern is that Pep now strives to utilise the quality of his 10s, David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne. By Pep employing his fullbacks as central midfielders, this then allows Silva and De Bruyne to move forward and operate in the half spaces between the lines of the opposition's midfield and defence. So let's have a look at the tactic in FM. After testing out multiple formations to determine which recreates the movements of the tactic best, I finally opted for what is pictured below. The fullbacks are obviously set as inverted wing-backs, so they operate centrally. In terms of the deep line playmaker, I tested the half-back a few times, and the role wasn't having the desired effect. It was too defensive, it forced my centre-backs too wide, and didn't have the controlling influence that Pep requires from his pivots. Regarding the centre-backs, the immediate perception is that they should be ball-playing defenders, which I'd agree with and I did try. However, I'm playing with 3 playmakers in midfield and 2 inverted wing-backs, and all of these have the instruction of more risky passes, so in order to retain the ball more effectively and manage risk, I eventually opted to change them to centre-backs. In terms of the 2 advanced playmakers, this was fairly clear to me, as Pep wants both Silva and De Bruyne to operate in the holes between the opposition's midfield and defence. I would have added get further forward to these advanced playmakers, but for some reason the tactic creator doesn't allow this on support duty. And when they're on attack duty, the tactic is too prone to becoming unbalanced. Now for the wingers. These are vital attacking outlets to their tactics. They're on attack duty as I want them to dribble more, play very wide and cross from the byline after beating opposing fullbacks 1v1. I also added an additional player instruction to my wingers to aim low crosses to the centre, which is where Aguero will often be there to finish. Aguero will play as an advanced forward as I want him playing high and on the shoulder of the opponent's last defender to utilise his high anticipation when attacking crosses. The average position of each player will vary on a game-by-game basis depending on a number of aspects. Overall though, the average positions of your players when in possession should appear similar to what you can see now. Now for the team instructions. I opted for a very fluid team shape and control mentality, as I felt these were fairly obvious. Pep is a very modern manager in terms of wanting every one of his players to contribute to every phase of the game, as well as remaining compact and counter-pressing where possible. The control mentality is effectively what Pep's philosophy is about, ultimate dominance and being aggressive with and without the ball. I've set my tempo as normal and appreciate that this is probably open to debate. As tempo is purely a with the ball setting, I didn't think higher was appropriate, as Pep liked his players to be patient and make good decisions on the ball, and this is less likely to happen when you use a higher tempo. I've tested lower tempo with the tactic, and although it does work, I prefer my players to have the option of speeding up play when appropriate, so I've opted for normal. Manchester City play with a higher line so that the game is played far away from their goal. However, this can sometimes change to deeper if the opponent is defending with a low block. Closing down more, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, use tighter marking and get stuck in, all interlink into my experience to form aspects of counter-pressing. They empower your players to position themselves close to opponents in order to win the ball back and be aggressive when doing so. Regarding build-up play, it's imperative that your team tries to exploit the flanks, as this is where the most attacking penetration will occur, and using this setting will encourage your playmakers to pass to your wingers. Finally, work ball into box, shorter passing and retained possession all interlink to develop a patient approach focused on dominating the ball and taking advantage of an opportunity when it arises. So let's have a look at some results. In order to prove a tactic is effective, I'll often play a full season with the tactic in place to show that it works. However, this time around I implemented the tactic halfway through the season in my RB Leipzig save. Pictured below is a summary of my team's achievements at the end of the season after using my recreation of Pep's tactic since around January. Clearly the tactic is stable, balanced and prolific enough to compete at the highest level, as my RB Leipzig side have won every competition that they've competed in, including a 5-1 win in the Champions League final against Monaco. Another example of the type of dominant performance that the tactic can produce is shown here, with a large number of shots and 50% of them being on target, as well as not conceding a single shot on target from the opposition. So let's have a look at some match footage. In this clip, the ball is intercepted aggressively and given to the pivot in the centre, who's in place largely to dictate play. The ball is then played to my right-sided inverted wing-back, who drives forward and plays the ball towards the two number 10s, who then have the creative freedom to create a scoring opportunity by assisting my advanced forward. In this clip, the devastating counter-attacking capability of the tactic is demonstrated as the ball is won and quickly played forward to the advanced forward who's spearheading the attack. As my wingers are both on attack duty, they are positioned high and wide and able to contribute to the counter-attack and score through some high-tempo football. In this clip, fairly little happens, but it's a good demonstration of how the tactic allows the team to manage counter-attacks and compress the play in the opponent's half. The ball is won by the opponent and played down the channel to one of their two strikers, but the 5 men I have behind the ball managing the spaces are able to intercept the counter-attacking chance and recirculate the ball to maintain control. This clip demonstrates the main attacking weapon of the tactic, wide play. This is straight from the kickoff at the start of the match. The ball is played back to one of my number 10s, who then immediately looks to switch the play to the flanks. My winger receives the ball and is immediately faced with a 1v1 situation. The opposing fullback has no chance, and the ball is crossed low for my advanced forward to anticipate and tap in to score. So there we go. That was Distance Covered's attempt at recreating Pep Guardiola's inverted wing-back system on Football Manager 2017. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful and worthwhile. If you look below, you can probably find a tactic to download and have a go yourself and probably do a damn sight better than I managed to do with it. I hope you enjoyed the piece. We'll be back very soon with some more stuff on the Tempo YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and all that other stuff I'm supposed to say at the end of a video, but I really do hope that we see you again soon. Many thanks.